Good evening, everyone. This is David Robinson. I'm the Democratic candidate for Congressional District 2 out of South Carolina. Thank you so much for being here this evening, this Friday evening. I know it's the weekend, and I hope you all have the opportunity today to get a chance this weekend to be able to spend with your family. We get September the 20th. We're getting closer and closer to Election Day, so I want to make sure we're talking about some of the issues that is concerning our country at this time, as well as those who are in my congressional district, the district things that happening right here in South Carolina. That's very, very important. Last week, I talked about defending our democracy as part of who I am as a person who joined the military, raised my right hand, sworn to protect our Constitution, been in the first line of defense for our country. Especially, I'm a wartime veteran. Happened joined the military after 9/11, and that was one of the reasons why I gave up my business to do so. To give this country something I had. The best of what I had is to be able to drive trucks. So again, just wanted to talk about that for a minute. That the first part of my series of going through these bullet points. If you guys have my flyers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Defending our democracy, protecting women's reproductive rights, also providing quality education for every zip code. Make sure that we're lowering healthcare and prescription costs, and as well as protect the safeguarding our infrastructure. But like I said last week, I talked about specifically about the defending our democracy. Today, I want to talk about protection of women reproductive rights. It's something that should be talked about. We hear it a lot in the news cycle right now. Women's right is Americans' right. It is a human right. It is something that we should make sure that we're standing up for. So again, today that's the first thing I want to talk about, and I want to put this up so everybody can see exactly what I'm talking about. Those who do not have the flyers, but yes, defending our democracy, protecting women's reproductive rights, providing quality education in every zip code, uh, lowering healthcare and prescription costs, safeguarding our infrastructure. Again, today I'll be talking about the protection of women's rights. And as I go down each week, we'll talk about those things and how that relates to who I am, and also my campaign, and what I'm standing up for. Now, this is not the only things, but these are my points that I will be speaking on. Also, give an opportunity for those who are in the comment section, those who are watching from Instagram, from Facebook, Yahoo, Facebook and YouTube, and also those on Twitter could join in on the comment section to be able to put your questions, comments, things like that. I can put them up on the screen and talk about those. Those on Instagram, I apologize. Instagram do not allow us to put you on the screen, but I can see anything that you put in. I really appreciate you, Sunshine, for being that battle buddy, my battle buddy who's been out there with us as well. Duke, thank you so much for joining in as well off the Instagram side, and those who are on the Facebook and also the Twitter side. So again, thank you for joining in. I want to just go ahead and dive right into what I want to do, and I want to say thank you first of all too, as well as those who have joined me on yesterday to my fish fry, the campaign fish fry, and also just want to say thank you so much for joining in and being a part of that. We had a great time. I really did enjoy meeting future constituents, and as well as those who are really came out to say, you know what, we're looking for a change, we're looking for something different. Also, I want to thank Terrence Fawkes. He's the Democratic chairman of Lexington County. He showed up out there, doing some great work, as well as Lexington, South Carolina, for getting that message out there. There is a change for our district. It is a change for Lexington County. There are some things out there that people just don't know, and Mr. Fawkes, he is doing everything he can to make sure they get those messages that, hey, look, it's time for a change. Great things are happening, and we can be really happy about that. After we hearing so much of doom and gloom all the time, if you look at the news, always something about have one person would say that our country is going downhill, and we're horrible, and all these bad things we hear about the United States as farthest from the truth. We don't have to hear all this negativity. We don't have to just be ourselves, subject ourselves to those things. So again, to have person like Terrence Fawkes as well, like I said, for my campaign and those who join in, on yesterday. I really appreciate you guys for coming out there and listening to hear what I had to say. Again, for those who just jumping in right now, I am going down this list. Last week I did defending our democracy, when it ins and out about that, as well as how Project 2025 will affect, things that I care about, our democracy, how, we want to change the Constitution and things like that, elevate the role of a president and things. So again, this week right here today, we're talking about the next step. Next one is the protection of women's reproductive rights. Okay, so that's where we're at. So thank you again for, I see the number of people joining in, more coming in. So I really appreciate it. Like I said, taking your time out on this weekend. I've been doing this every week at 8:30 p.m. That's the goal, to be here every week to hear what you have to say, let you know a little bit about myself. In the comment section, those who want to have comments, please put your comments in. Please, your questions, everything. That's what this whole forum is about. Something I want to do, and I started right here. Something I've been doing for my son, but this is something I'm definitely doing for my campaign. Also, after I win on November 5th, to continue on doing this for my constituents, to give you an avenue, because to be able to talk to me directly, hear what I have to say, and so I can hear some of your concerns. The best way you can represent people is to know exactly what they want, what they're looking for. You cannot say, "Hey, look, I know it all, and I know what everybody in my district want." How you know? It's probably what you want as personally, but you have to talk to your constituents, and on all sizes. No matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, we all are in this district together. So I had to hear those things that concern our district and make sure I'm doing everything I can to represent those interests. So again, we want to jump in right on in. I want to start off with a little bit of Project 2025. Project 2025 is a conservative. It's being produced by a conservative think tank. Project 2025, also known as 2025 Presidential Transition Project, is a political initiative published by the Heritage Foundation that aim to promote conservative and right wing policies. I'm gonna skip down here because you see those informations there, and it's a 180-day playbook is what I want to get to. It's a 180-day playbook. It's not something that, like I said last night at my event, it's not something that they're trying to put in place the next few years, or some length of time, trying to work this thing in. They've been working this thing since the Reagan days, and so it's just that, like I said last night, they're too stupid to put it in a book for us to read out here in the public. So they put this thing out, what they have been wanting to plan. Of course, it's been put heavily together under President Trump's, former President Trump's administration during that time after he lost. And some of those things been put in place to wanting to be put in place to limit and decrease the power of the presidency, and limit a lot of our things that we take, a lot of us may take for granted. So the time is short. This is coming straight from their playbook. First of all, the playbook is something that many would say, hey, look, if you go to a game, you talk to a coach and they produce a playbook, they're planning to use it. So it's not something that a playbook would be something they just, hey, like I said, just want to implement it over a long period of time. But they call it a 180-day plan. If you look at it, it's a 180-day playbook. They want to implement it in 180 days. That's less than a year. And say the time is short. This is exactly, you go on the Heritage Foundation, you go on their website, you go and you'll see it right there in quotes. The time is short, and conservatives need a plan. The project will create a playbook of actions to be taken in the first 180 days of the new administration to bring quick relief to Americans suffering from the devastating policies. It says they'll be gutting abortion access in 50 states, backdoor bans, or on abortion without Congress. They want to be able to jail doctors, you name it. In quotations, announcing a campaign to enforce and the criminal prohibitions in 18 U.S. Code 1461 and 1462. You can find it on their page 562. Project 2025 will resurrect the law from the 1800s called the Comstock Law Act and ban abortion nationwide and jail healthcare providers. And you can find all of that again in their book. It's a severely limited abortion access nationwide, and you can read the rest of that. Of course, like I said, I'm just putting this out here because that's going to be my subject for today is abortion rights, but it goes on further than abortion rights. Um, and for when I say, I won't say abortion right, but women's rights, gutting abortion access continued, ban medication without which is used in many ways to protect women's health. Abortion pills posed the single abortion pills, according to them, abortion pills pose the single greatest threat to unborn children in the post-Roe world. The FDA should reverse its approval on chemical abortion drugs, and that's on page 547. And we could dive deep into that whole little sentence there because you can't. You sit there and you paint everything with a broad brush. If you look at what they're saying, they actually would take away anything that would help a woman in every situation where she chooses. First of all, it would hurt a woman in every situation of what she chooses about her own body and what's between her and her doctor for her health. Force states to report women's miscarriages and abortions to Trump's federal government. Can you imagine that? The government has so much reach into a woman's life. They want to know what she's doing in her doctor's office. Does she have a miscarriage? Like it's the government's business that she had a miscarriage. That is something that's painful for a woman to lose a child and to have the government thumbing their nose in there and want to know her personal business. Project 2025 would use every available tool, including the cutting of funds to force states to report these miscarriages and exactly how the abortions took place within its borders. That's for any reasons, you guys. And you can find on page 544. So again, lastly, gun and abortion access continue. They would eliminate the week after pill for contraceptives, mandate a potential abortion facts. That's what they believe it is. You find that on page 485. Allows employers to deny workers access to birth control coverage. A lot of places where you can employment we actually even supply condoms to certain workers to protect them, and that would be forbidden. So not just affecting just women on the certain areas, it's going to affect the men as well. It also calls for defunding Planned Parenthood, which provides access to contraception for over 2 million women each year. And again, and also control it for men as well. But what I want to go in right here straight to this point, women's reproductive rights. I'm going to make this big so you can see this a lot better. Defending our democracy and protecting. I shouldn't have that there. Voting rights, but we're women's reproductive rights. The fundamental rights to choose. Women's reproductive rights are fundamental human rights. Every woman should have the freedom to make her own choices about her body, her health, and her future. The right to safe and legal abortion is essential. It is not the role of the government to interfere in deeply personal medical decisions. Access to comprehensive health care. We must ensure that women have unrestricted access to comprehensive reproductive health care, including contraception, parental care, and abortion services, no matter where they live or their financial situations. Also, healthcare is a right, not a privilege. We must work to improve access to affordable healthcare, and that includes all aspects of women's reproductive health. And we have to respect the woman's autonomy, and respecting women's reproductive rights means trusting them to make decisions that are best for themselves and their family. Free from political interference, we should empower women with education, support, and resources, not control or punishment. Rejecting extreme legislations, we must fight back against extreme laws that ban or severely limit abortion access. These laws are dangerous, unconstitutional, and disproportionately harms marginalized women. These recent surge in abortion bans rolled back rights and is direct attack on the progress we've made in ensuring equality for women. And we're gonna get into that, everybody, because like I was saying before, this whole abortion issue, abortion rights issue, and really painting everything with a broad brush. And I know a lot of it come from some extreme, ideologies out there. When you say you want to take your beliefs on things and broad brush everyone to be into what you feel and believe. But the thing is, we want to make sure that we're protecting, not going backwards, and some of the things that women have to go through for decades. And we're gonna tackle those in a minute. Protecting Roe v. Wade. Protecting Roe v. Wade. We must work to codify Roe v. Wade into federal law, ensuring that the protections of women's reproductive freedoms remain intact regardless of the future court rulings. Now, I can't tell you Kamala Harris is running for president. She says she will sign it, which she will sign those, but you will definitely have to have those in place, like me, those ones in Congress, to make sure that we can get into law, create that law, and make sure that the president signs it, right? Dismantle Roe v. Wade shows the need for strong legislative action to guarantee reproductive rights for all women. The economic impact of reproductive rights. Women economic security is closely tied to their reproductive freedom. Reproductive health decisions can determine a woman's ability to pursue education, employment, and financial independence. When women are in control of their reproductive choices, they are more likely to thrive, contributing to their families, communities, and the economy. Support for contraceptives access. We must expand access to affordable and effective contraceptions, which reduce the need of abortions, and empowers women to plan their families and futures. And I want to keep going on that point as well. Women's reproductive rights, defending the rights of all women. Reproductive rights are also an issue of racial and economic justice. Women of color, low income women, and rural women faces the greatest barriers to accessing reproductive health care, and we must work to eliminate these inequalities. We need policies that protects the most vulnerable among us, who are disproportionately affected by restrictions on reproductive health access as well. Standing with healthcare providers, we must stand with healthcare providers who risk their safety and well-being to ensure women can access reproductive care. We also need to provide excuse me. We also need to provide providers should not be face criminalization or harassment for providing safe, legal reproductive services. And this is what we got for call to action for the voters, and that is people like yourself. Make sure that we're doing everything. If you're here right now and you're one of those that are standing up for women's rights, women's reproductive rights, we have to stand up together. We have to call. This is a call for action. Reproductive rights are on the ballot in every election. We need leaders who will fight to protect these rights and ensure that future generations of women are not forced to relive the struggles of the past. And I want to stop for a minute right there because I remember way back, we had an issue when back in the day they was finding people who were having their own abortions in certain situations, and then we don't want to go back to a time where women are put in a corner. Rape victims and things like that are forced to carry a child to term early on, right? And we had women who would do all kind of had no choices, would do things that they have felt the need to do at the time because they couldn't get the services that they need. And then what happens is now most of the time it put their life in danger, put the child's life in danger as well. But we have situations we don't have to go back into some old things that we have done in the past and revisit those things again. And you know, and here it is in 2024, we still having those issues and those battles about a woman's body, and that's ridiculous to me. How over so length of time we're still having those kind of discussions when it's a person's personal choice about their own self, their own body, and we treat it like it's two different rights. You know, like again, I said at the beginning, this women's rights is reproductive rights. American rights is reproductive rights, and want to make sure that we're protecting those. It's a time to elect representatives who will uphold women's rights, healthcare access, and freedom of choice. I am one of those candidates that would do that. Make sure that I'm definitely standing in that gap. Will make sure I'm standing up for women's reproductive rights. And also in 2024, women are still, and it's something I want to go into. Like I said again, you know, reproductive rights is a battle that's been going on and on and on. There's also other battles that women have to face when it comes to their lives, their livelihood, and everything else. You know, it is 2024, and we're still having those type of conversations. I'm a girl dad. I have also two adult daughters, and I don't want them growing up on my grandbaby. I have a grandchild, and definitely don't want them growing up. My granddaughter as well, to grow up in a world where her rights are fueled in those other paths. You know, they're still gaining their proper rights that we were born with here in this country. Their rights are being reduced, and no, we're not going back to some time where rights was stripped away and there wasn't any rights for women. And so we want to make sure we're protecting and fighting against those. Again, here we go. Okay, I went to the wrong one here. But yes, in 2024, women are still significantly earn significantly less than men for the same work. On average, women make 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. And the disparities are even starker for Black women at 64 cents and Latinos at just 54 cents and on the dollar. This is unacceptable. We must pass and enforce legislation like the Paycheck Fairness Act, ensuring that women are paid fairly for their work and closing the gender gap, wage gap once and for all. Equal pay isn't just a woman's issue; it is an economic issue that impacts families, communities, and overall economy. Combating violence against women is another issue that we need to face. Violence against women remains a public health crisis. One in four homeless women in America are homeless because of violence. This is a moral failure, and that we must address through increased support for domestic violence shelters and stronger legal protections for survivors. We need to hold perpetrators and violence accountable and ensure that women have access to safe housing, legal resources, and financial independence to escape abuse situations. Ending sexual harassment and assault requires a culture shift, but also policy reform that make workplace, schools, and public spaces safer for women. Improve maternal. We could do a lot better, everyone. Improve maternal health. The U.S. has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country. This is a tragic statistic, especially since many of these deaths are preventable. Black women are particularly at risk, being 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy related complications than white women. We must invest in maternal health care, improving access to parental and postpartum services, and address the systematic bias in healthcare that put women's lives at risk. Universal health care with a focus of reproductive and maternal health is critical to ensuring that women receive care they need regardless of their income or their background. Also, we need to end women's rights. Also, we need to end ending gender stereotypes in education. Some K through 12 students still schools still have single sex education programs that rely on outdated and harmful gender stereotypes. These programs often limit opportunities for young women and reinforce biased notions of what girls can achieve. All students deserve an education that promotes equality and opportunity, not the one that is shaped by narrow ideas of gender roles. We need to ensure that all public schools provide inclusive, unbiased education that encourages girls to pursue STEM, field, and leadership roles and other opportunities. Assessing workplace inequalities, women are disproportionately concentrated in low wage jobs, often in fields like caregiving, retail, and hospitality, despite being just as educated and skilled as their counterparts. And I want to stop real quick from that because, statistically, Black women are the most educated in this country. And so we have women that are very educated on all races, and we have those who can do the job, but yet they are making a lot less and they're not given those opportunities. And we have to make sure we even the playing field. We must raise the minimum wage and ensure that women in low wage jobs have access to benefits like paid family leave, child care support, and health care. These jobs are vital to our economy, and the women who work in them deserve respect, fair pay, and opportunities for advancement. It is time to remove the barriers that prevent women from moving up the economic ladder into leadership roles. And I'm going a little further than this, you guys. You can bear with me. Women are fighting discrimination in every sector. Women face discrimination in hiring, pay, promotion, healthcare, and higher education. We need to strengthen and enforce anti-discriminatory laws to ensure that women are treated fairly in every aspect of life. Women shouldn't have to choose between her career and her health, her education or her family. We need workplace policies that protect women from discrimination and ensure that they can thrive in their careers while balancing their other responsibilities. We must also address the intersection of race and also gender discrimination, which disproportionately impacts women of color, ensuring that all women have equal access to opportunities. Increasing women's representation in legal and in leadership. Excuse me. Women are still underrepresented in government, corporate leadership, and other decision-making roles. Despite being half of the population, women holds less than 30% of elected offices and only a fraction of CEO positions. We must work to break down the barriers that keep women from positions of power, whether through gender bias, lack of support, or structural discrimination. Representation matters. I say that a lot, you guys. Representation matters, and it is time for more women to have their seat at the table. Electing more women into office and leadership roles will ensure that policies reflect the needs of women, leading to fairer and more inclusive decision making and on every level. And this is our call to action. Again, there's another call to action. I wanted to put that in on the bottom of these. Call to action for everyone that's listening to me. Women's rights are human rights. Again, women's reproductive rights are human rights. It is American rights, and we want to make sure we're protecting both. We're protecting all women's rights. Is really important to our country as well. And we must continue to fight for equality in pay, protection from violence, access to healthcare, education free from stereotypes, and equal representation in all areas of society. It's time to elect leaders who will prioritize these issues and ensure that all women, regardless of race, income, and background, have freedom and opportunities that they deserve. Again, like I said, definitely want to keep pushing that issue because that is on the ballot. For those who are listening, that is on the ballot. All of these issues. We're not going backwards. It's time where we can look at some of these guys who've been in office 23 years and even longer, and they just don't want to leave, and they give you these same old policies, and they give you their ideal of life, and it's not reflective of what America is and what it's trying to become. And they're taking that fear tactic and say what it's trying to become is we're losing our country, and no, we're gaining a better country that is inclusive, and also we're growing. And so all this just this despair and all the hateful and the rhetoric that says, oh, you need to look at this person sideways and this and that going on, all this kind of crazy stuff, that when you see that we're trying to put in place policies that is causing things like this to make people's lives are fair, make sure women have the rights they deserve, make sure we all our rights are protected. I did not go to Afghanistan to fight for this country to take away rights for Americans. I did not go there to see our Constitution get destroyed by Project 2025. I didn't go there for a dictator or a king because we don't have one, and I would fight to make sure that we never do. This is one reason why we need to get out there to vote, take these things seriously, because those things are being put in place under your nose. And we already see how Roe v. Wade was taken out, and we're fighting over this, talking over this situation of a woman's body, her right to choose. And here we are again. So we're repeating the same thing. If we don't learn from a lesson, we're destined to repeat. We're destined to repeat. We have to do something different. We cannot do the same thing for 23 years expecting a different result. These people show you who they are. They show you who they are. They show you what they represent and who they represent and why your best interest is not at heart. They may even have name recognition. That name recognition don't mean anything. You could have a lot of years. I've been in office for many years, and I have all this experience. Experience don't mean nothing. Yeah, you have experience, all right. You have experience on your best interest, your own selfish interest. You have experience on how to gain a vote, to keep on doing the same thing you have been doing for 23 years and not having the interest of everybody in your district, not having interest on everybody in your country, and have those same policies that are going to keep us stagnated as long as we're bent to their ideology. So again, just want to make sure that everyone understand it is on the ballot. It is on the ballot. It's on the ballot for us to defend our democracy in all areas. And democracy is, like I said again, a part of women's reproductive rights, women's right in this country, period. And when it comes to their health care, and also the women's right to make equal pay for equal work on a job, and to make sure that we don't have those discriminatory practices that goes on at these jobs. We have to make sure we continue to fight and don't let off the paddle, because again, if you let off the paddle and you say, hey, you listen to this rhetoric, and they say, hey, look, we're not really, people show you who they say who they are. We're not really saying this and that. No, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're just saying what you can say right now so you can get in office and continue to do the same thing you have been doing in the past. So again, a person will show you who they are. And I thank you everybody who joined in this evening. I thought I'd probably have some comments. I do see a lot on the Instagram side. I don't see any comments, but thank you so much for joining in. I can see you out there. I really appreciate it. Those who are on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, X, thank you so much for joining in. Like I said, I don't have any comments, but I'm doing this every week, everyone. I'm doing this every week. I just want to really just talk to the constituents, those who I know. Once I win in November the 5th, you all earn your vote. You vote for me, and I win this district. I really want to fight for you. I really want to make sure I'm doing this right here to be engaged with you, talk to you. You know who I am. I would love to hear your concerns and what you like to see in your representative. All of that matters. All that matters to me. Have an open dialogue for my constituents, future constituents, as well as those, on every side. Everybody have something, and we all have something in common. We're going to talk about those things again, these bullet points. We're going to talk about next. We're going to be talking about quality education in every zip code, and you will understand when I say every zip code because of my history, and we'll be talking about that. You cannot, like I said, the greatest strength of a chain is every link, and it's according to that weakest link. If you have a weak link in a chain, the whole chain is no good. So we want to make sure that we're providing quality education in every zip code. That means no matter what your community is and where you're from, and what your financial status are. So we want to make sure that we're actually providing quality education in every zip code. That's next week. We'll be talking about that. And the week after that, I'll talk about the lowering the healthcare and prescription costs. Then the week after that, we'll focus on safeguarding our infrastructure, and then we'll continue on different topics. So again, thank you everybody who joined in this evening, being a part of this podcast. Again, every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for those on the East Coast. That's 5:30 p.m. if you're out in West. And I really thank those. I've seen some of you here who's been supporting me with my son out on the West Coast, and I really appreciate you joining in as well. My congressional win is out of South Carolina. I am running for Congressional District 2 out of South Carolina. But getting in Congress, you make laws for the whole entire country. So I'm standing up for everything, standing up for all that is right in this country. I'm also not on my bullet points, but I will be talking about my fight for missing Americans in this case, and that affects everyone. Everyone in this country. Over 600,000 go missing every year. It's Americans go missing every year. It's about everyone. Everyone in your state. You think it can't happen to you. I hope it never do. Those who hear my voice, never. I hope it don't happen to anyone. But it happened to my family. So exactly something that we would never imagine in a million years happened to our family. I have a missing son that's out there, and I'm still searching for him. But what I'm saying is it's a crisis. It's a big crisis, and that what got me into this congressional run. And I'm aimed to make sure I'm doing everything I can to fight for missing Americans, and I have those things that I want to get put in place to just do that job. So again, thank you everybody for joining in. I will be jumping off. I don't see any comments or any questions and things. So hope you have a good weekend. I will be canvassing hopefully with Terrence Fox and the Lexington. Those out there, if you're in Lexington, South Carolina, you want to go out with us Saturday. Go to the Lexington County Democratic Party, Terrence Fox, and to their location there, and at 12 o'clock noon, and we'll be going out canvassing tomorrow. And those who are in Aiken, South Carolina, if you're listening right now, I will be down to Aiken as well. And just definitely would like to meet a lot of you tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock p.m. I'll be in Aiken. So do a lot of moving around. And also on Sunday, those here in Columbia, South Carolina, I'll be at the Martin Luther King Park. I forgot was that time, but we'd have an event there. I would be there as well. So I'd like to shake your hand and get to talk to you there. So if you want to join in, please be there. Take care of yourself. God bless you all. And like I said, spend a lot of time with your family. Happy weekend to each and every last one of you. I guess we'll talk on the next time. Again, 8:30 p.m. every week. And 5:30 p.m. for those who are on the West Coast. Thank you again. And we'll see you again. See you next time. So take care. My name is David Robinson. I'm a proud son of Columbia, South Carolina. I was raised on the Southern values of faith, family, and treating others as you would like to be treated. I believe in the power of a handshake and the strength of one's word. As a single parent, I faced the challenges of making ends meet firsthand. When I heard the call to serve, I knew I had to act. I served my country where I learned that we are all in this together, regardless of race, color, or politics. Whether it was in Afghanistan or Arizona, I saw the power of cooperation. Now, I'm ready to bring that same spirit to Washington. Our nation's future depends on our ability to work together and focus on the bread and butter issues that matter most to everyday Americans, not sowing seeds of division. This November, when you cast your ballots, remember, it's about more than just politics. It's about sending someone who would truly represent all South Carolinians. I am David Robinson, and I approve this message.